Hello everyone, we are back with our gun review series. I, as always, am Andrew Vachon, your event coordinator and a resident gun geek here at Thunder Lake Summer Shooting Range. And today we're talking about what I honestly do consider to be the best 22 semi-autos on the market, the Tippmann M4-22 series. This is going to be predominantly on the M4-22 Elite, specifically my personal M4-22 Elite, but I am going to briefly mention the M4-22 Pro. The primary difference between the Pro, as seen here, this is a Pro fluted here, and the Elites is that the Pro has polymer furniture, specifically the handguard, whereas the Elites are aluminum. This is the Pro fluted, so we're gonna get over the average Pro is that has a very nice fluted barrel and a thread protector instead of an A2 flash hider. What you're gonna get with a Tippmann M4-22 Elite out of the box? You're going to get clearly a AR patterned semi-auto 22. You're gonna get a very nice, I believe this is a 13.2 inch aluminum handguard, 16-inch barrel. Naturally, they do have shorter barrels, 11.5 inches and 7.5 inches. I think they might go down to 5. I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on that. We'll put a Q if I'm right or wrong in the video, but we obviously aren't doing much with the pistols and the brace issue is frustrating. So on the 16-inch gun, you're gonna get an A2 style stock. You're going to get a grip that is suspiciously similar to a Magpul MOE grip. Standard mil-spec style charging handle. It is very early and I have not had my coffee yet, guys. You're going to get a magazine 25 round capacity. We'll talk about this later. And you're going to get what is honestly a phenomenally feeling gun because it does match the fit and form of the AR-15. Now we're going to talk about my personal Tippmann here. And you may not know because it's one of the videos that has been viewed the least. We've actually talked about this very gun, my own personal, on the channel here before. We were doing a kind of a video for our Tippmann and Hawk days. We did demo days, the guys from Tippmann Armory and Hawk, they came up, we had a great time. I got to shoot my first full auto. And it was a shorter video. I'd only owned the gun for a couple months. We're now 8 months into ownership and over 7,000 rounds. I shot 1,250 rounds in the past week in preparation for this video. So what are we looking at with mine? Mine is a FDE Elite. So it's an M4-22 Elite with a FDE Cerakote. A little more money. Cerakote, it does hold up, and let's be honest, tan guns are just an entire vibe. 100% of SCAR 17s that are tan are sold because it is just 50 shades of FDE and it's just a beautiful mess. The Glock 19X is as popular as it is because it is in fact tan, and the Sega 320 M17s and M18s, them being FDE, is a huge selling point, at least in my opinion. I have changed out a few of the things. I have a Magpul CTR stock, which is in my opinion the king of all rifle stocks. Magpul MOE grip. As I said, it's suspiciously similar MOE grip, but it's not fully there. I've done a Radian Talon safety selector. I don't personally like the 45 degrees, so it is still the standard 90 degree. Charging handle is Tippmann's ambidextrous charging handles. You do not want to know what me and Greg is the customer service guy at Tippmann Arms. He is absolutely phenomenal. He and I are working on a way to custom forge turn a Radian Raptor into make it compatible, because one of the few things that is proprietary to the gun is the bolt carrier group, so you can't use standard AR-15 charging handles. I gotta give him a shout out. He spent so much time trying to make it work and we couldn't do it, but I did pick up one of their ambidextrous charging handles, which is very similar to the Raptor. Can't recommend it enough if you could find one. I put on a Strike Industries GD sling mount, and the optic is a SIG Romeo 4T, which I do enjoy quite a bit. I've shot the absolute crap out of this thing. Also, the trigger is a Geisley G2S two-stage trigger, which kind of got to treat yourself sometimes. I didn't go for a full SSA because it is, after all, a 22, but $300 for a trigger is a bit much in that regard. What do I use this for? One, it is a ton of fun. So dollar to fun ratio is unmatched as far as any gun I've ever shot. I use it a lot to do drills. 5.56, I don't know if you checked, is better than it has been in the past 3 years. It's still not great. Ammo prices are what they are. So having a firearm that mimics the form and function of a standard AR-15, very helpful when it comes to trying to get some training in, trying to do some drills, but you don't want to drop a ton of money shooting 5.56. Reload practice, the magazines, totally we talk about these later. It's like the same relative size as AR pattern magazines. They fit into chest rigs and LBE perfectly. They feed remarkably well. We'll talk about use with the speed loader here in a bit. Me personally, this is probably unique to me. I buy a ton of optics. I will test all the optics I want to try on this gun for the most part. Once again, super fun to shoot. It's a great way to learn an optic. I had my favorite Cope Cog, the SIG Bravo 3 Megaview, on here a little bit, trying to figure that out. In fact, you're going to see some of the optics I've used with this gun and the footage we're going to be putting up. It's just a phenomenal shooting gun. I can't recommend them enough. And what really sets apart is the speed loader. It is such a strange thing to care about, but I have some footage we'll put up of me using the speed loader. It makes what would be a frustrating task, loading the magazine, which they do a very nice job of it. You can pull this up and use the pull tab to help you feed the magazine. It does get a little taut with the last 3 or so rounds in the magazine. Magazines and springs just do tend to work like that. But the speed loader, you don't have to feed the rounds in. You just open up a box of ammo and dump the rounds in, and then you just insert your magazine and crank it down. Once again, we'll show a video of how it works in action. And I gotta say, the speed loader is the difference between me shooting 2,000 rounds and 7,000 rounds. Worth your time? Yes. Worth the money? Absolutely. You will be spending a lot more on ammo though if you do decide to pick one of these up. I can hear some people commenting already, if the gun is so great out of the box, why did you mod it? One, because it's America and I don't like your tone. Two, because it is an AR-15. I think that you can buy an M4-22 Elite Pro, doesn't matter, and you're gonna get a phenomenal gun out of the box. But one of the beauties of the Tippmanns is that it is an AR-15. And there are also other great options that have the same fit and feel. The Smith & Wesson MP-15-22, phenomenal gun. Building your own 22 with a CMMG kit, phenomenal way to go. The Tippmann magazines are just phenomenal. I've had 7,000 rounds, 7,200 rounds or so through this gun, with 1,250 rounds in the past week. I can't recommend these things enough. This was a great active escalation in backyard warfare against things like raccoons and groundhogs. If I had infinite money, I would buy an SBR, one of the 11.5-inch ones, suppressed, throw a PEC 15 on there and just really take the raccoon game up to the next level. They keep getting my trash cans, they keep getting in fights with my cats, they need to die. Slight digression. But really, you cannot go wrong with the Tippmann M4-22s. I absolutely love them, and I do consider them to be the best 22 semi-autos on the market. I cannot stress enough that it is an AR-15 that happens to be 22. It takes your AR-15 triggers, everything, and it's just super fun to shoot. I cannot stress enough how awesome it is. I have a couple nieces and nephews who are just wanting to get into guns, and my one aunt, she's really recoil shy and she's scared of AR-15s. I had her shoot this thing and now she wants to buy them on her own. Words escape me how awesome these guns are. The only gun I've ever felt like this that I reviewed before was my 226 Zev. One, this is about, you can buy 4 of these for the Zev, give or take. And 2, ammo's a lot cheaper. Zev's a phenomenal gun, but this gun is perfect. It really is. All I can say is, if you don't believe me, come on in, we got one for rent. Or just ask me if you can make it in. Once again, the guns are just phenomenal. They're rock solid, and you don't know until you try one. Catch you guys later.